Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I am excited to be here today. I am joined with founder of LYNEports, which is fantastic, cool company. I got a demo of it. Rasha Alshami, she's the founder and just an amazing person. I've gotten a chance to get to know her a little bit and just this wonderful career, and has really taken all of her huge brain power and has now focused it into this really cool startup. And so I'm excited for her to chat a little bit about what she's doing today and connect with the community. So with that, Rasha, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Molly, and I appreciate the time and the invitation to talk and share a little bit more about Line Ports on this beautiful podcast. I'm very excited to be here and share our stories. What we do at Line Ports, we provide software solutions that are focused on the integration between aviation and infrastructure. So that's the ground. The beauty of this is that we could integrate better in a safer way what is considered a new technology that is popping up, a new layer that is being added to the aviation, and that is advanced air mobility. Advanced air mobility, to be a little bit more specific, it's about this new type of aircrafts that are coming up, whether we're talking about drones or a little bit bigger than drones that could take off vertically. And those require better infrastructure, better spaces, and they will come more closer to our cities. The beauty of LinePorts is that it can help anyone, not necessarily an architect or an engineer or an aviation expert, better understand how they could integrate those and design them better. At some point, maybe in the future, if you would like to have your own airport or your own landing in your backyard, LinePorts would be the software for that. That's a little bit more in the future. As of today, we're helping airports, we're helping developers, we're helping also cities integrate this new technology, these new aircrafts in a better and safer way. Also, to add a little bit more to this, is we have seen a lot of accidents happen, with a lot of aircrafts, helicopters, commercial jets, and so on. So we need to understand that there's heavy traffic in our airspace as of today, and that is not enough for airports to accommodate and to host. Sorry, excuse me, for airports to host. So that's why, it's really important to plan our cities, to plan our urban fabric properly. And that's what LinePorts does.
I love that. That's a perfect short synopsis of what you do, although I feel like it's so much more. I want to dig in a little bit on that. Your background. So why this is the perfect project for you. I mean, you were an architect.
I am actually, and I apologize that my camera keeps
That's
sticking
okay.
up. It captures me literally in really funny modes. So yes, I'm actually an architect. I graduated as an architect. I didn't necessarily want it to be an architect. It was just an accident that I got into this school. And I did pretty well, but I was always fascinated with technology. So I started my master's in robotic programming, which I fell in love with all the software side of things, and developing, deep tech and so on. And then I started working at this really large firm that is called Zaha Hadid Architects. They design airports. That's when I got my first, big project to kind of collaborate on, which is Western Sydney Airport. I also worked on Beijing Airport, and other projects. And from there, I was switched to support Lilium. That was a little bit back, like 5 years ago. And it was very exciting because back then there was no guidance, no regulation. So you're literally given a white paper to design and help the regulators, the cities, the operators understand better what the aircraft needs. And that is really, really interesting because not a lot of architects get that chance. And that's when I realized, it wasn't really an easy job because we were looking at a lot of locations. I'm pretty sure also a lot of, operators and OEMs, which are the aircraft manufacturers, are doing the same. And it requires a lot of, heavy tools, a lot of monitors to do that job. And that's when I decided to depart that journey and start a software company.
I
So
love
from an
that.
architect to a software developer.
It's great. Oh, it's great. Well, can you talk a little bit about what the founder journey has looked like for you so far?
Wow, that's an amazing question. So definitely a very amazing, interesting journey, from different aspects. So obviously it's heavy on work. You know, when you start a company, you need to do everything together, from signing up and registering the company, understanding the business side of things, developing the software, finding people to support you, building the right team, and finding, ambitious, motivated people as you to bring on board. That is definitely one task that is super critical for a company. And I really appreciate, that when we spoke and I mentioned this to you, how important it is to bring a team member, and you were super supportive in connecting us to really nice, amazing people. But talent is really important in building a company. I know there's a lot of AI stuff that is going on, and that obviously supports the founder journey for sure. But still, the human aspect of it and connecting with people and bringing in team members is really important. So the founder journey is definitely not for the um, cool-hearted, but it's definitely something that requires a lot of work, patience, motivation, keeping in, being perseverance.
Yeah, perseverance. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So it does all of that, but obviously we were super lucky to get support from so many wonderful people like yourself and, our accelerator programs, friends, families, colleagues, ex-colleagues. So it's been definitely a really wonderful journey for us.
I think you're too generous as it regards to me, but I appreciate that. You guys are doing very cool things. I'm happy to support. And I hope our community jumps in, call to the community, jumps in and supports you too, because it's really, really cool what you're building. Um, okay, what does this year look like for you?
Um, I mean, to be from which side? Because there's
Uh,
a lot.
yeah, building your business.
So for us, of course, I mean, we want to get closer to our clients, our customers. We see the US as an innovator in terms of the aviation and airspace. That's something that we really are looking forward. That's why also we incorporated in the US. So for sure, having, moving a little bit more closer to the innovation, it really matters for us for this year. Of course, growing our product, reaching out to more people, growing our team. I mean, we're looking to have more talented people, especially on the software side, business side, join us, join a startup company that is growing in this really wonderful, fast-paced industry. That's something that we're looking on for this year.
Okay, that's fantastic. I was hoping you'd also maybe talk a little bit about, because you're bootstrapping, right?
Yes.
What does that look what does that look like? We laugh because it's exhausting. What does that look like for you and your company? Do you have any tips or recommendations for someone who maybe is looking to do that too? Or warnings like prepare yourself for this. It's hard.
So, I mean, because I was at Lilium and that was my first time understanding, and I was also part of the business development team. So understanding better, that you need to run after investors to help to help you move forward with your product is something that is not an easy job. But I also feel that there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to reaching out to investors and for them to invest in you. A lot of companies have been bootstrapped and they got to be a multi-million dollar companies. You don't need to be to find an investor to find a a product market fit, or to grow a company, or to grow a team. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to investment in general, but obviously it's not an easy job, right? Like when you don't have the money, how would you grow the product? But luckily for us, I mean, we have been growing with the industry a little bit, also for myself to invest a little bit in the company. That meant a lot and helped us a little bit grow. But I believe that, you could do wonders just with a brain and a laptop from your room, without necessarily raising VC money. And I think that's a really important thing to highlight. but also, I mean, there's also bad sides and good sides to each approach, right? Things might be slower when you're bootstrapped than when you go and get some investment. You could also, think about it from dilution perspective when you're looking to have investors on board. But for us, I mean, when we're looking for investors, we're looking for a little bit more of a strategic investor rather than just taking money from random VC that doesn't necessarily understand the sector that we're working on or the product that we're developing. So obviously, we're being a little bit more picky with regards to who would be investing in LYNEports, but at the same time, we understand that at some point we will be raising funds. So that's the two sides that I believe they're not so much being spoken about.
Mhm. No, I love that, and I also think as a female founder, right? It's interesting how it's such a especially in aviation, it feels like it's a small pool of people, right? Women founders in aviation, and then you think about getting funding, and I love that you're bootstrapping. I love that you're doing it yourself, and that you're being selective because I think that that is really powerful because you know the value of what you have and what you're building. So I think that that's a really really well done. Um, Okay, so as we move through this, I wanted to ask you, I'm just getting started. I have an amazing idea. I have a laptop and a brain. What do I do? Where do I go? What do I do? Right? What does that first year look like? What did it look like for you?
Oh, oh, you're bringing up so many beautiful memories and painful ones too. So before I go into that, you did highlight something that is very interesting. Being a female founder in a male-dominated industry, is something that is not easy. But to be honest, also a lot of the male colleagues that are in this industry are very supportive.
Yes.
Um, the reason why I'm mentioning it, maybe I'm not feeling it too much because I don't think about it too much. I think females tend to overthink and take things a little bit more personally. But once you get that out of the way, things become so crystal clear and easy to maneuver. Um, Regarding the female side of things, for us, like I really want to grow the balance between male and female in our team. And it's so hard to find females in the industry that, would be willing to join a startup, a growing startup, and, help us also grow with our product and clients and customers and so on. So that's something that is really, really hard to find, which brings me to answer your question. How was the first year? So the first year was really hard because I was looking for someone, specifically a female, to, join me on this journey, especially, after contemplating a little bit whether I made the right decision. And of course, my family is a little bit away from all this tech world, understanding what is a software, or what is this advanced air mobility or aviation. Like they just understand, okay, I'm just going to book a ticket and I'm going to fly. So explaining to them a little bit more about what I'm doing was really, really hard. But I got the support I needed from my family. I mean, without them, I wouldn't be here. Um, but obviously, I've started the company in Romania. I speak the language. I am Romanian, but it's also a little bit hard because I've never lived in Romania. So I just literally went to Romania, wanted to start a company. I cannot read very well, and I need to manage around what is required.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very, very hard. And to be honest, not a lot of people talk about this, understanding your finances, your accounting, paying taxes,
Paying yourself.
because you need to, yes, pay yourself. And there, when you're an employee, that's automatically done for you. It's automatically deducted for you in Europe. I'm not sure how it is in the
Yes.
US.
Hmm.
Yeah, so these things obviously matter, play a huge role. So understanding those steps and building a product and building a team next to it, it's really tough. It's a lot of sleepless nights, I have to admit. That's why I said that it's not really for the cool-hearted. It's more of like, trying to push as much as possible to get somewhere, getting the clients, getting market feedback, and growing with a company. So yeah, I definitely, the journey was not an easy one, but if you would ask me, would I do it again? Absolutely, like without even thinking.
That's great. I mean, that's the feedback that you want, right? Would you do it again? Yes, I would, 1000%. Yes, I don't think anybody likes doing taxes. It's tax day tomorrow in America and the United States, and I don't think everyone's dreading it. Like that's when it's the 15th. So no, that's not fun for anybody, especially when you have to figure it out on your own and you're like Googling, am I going to go to jail if I don't do this? Oh my gosh. Okay, is there anything that you would like to add that we haven't covered, that we haven't done, that you want to share with the community?
Actually, speaking of taxes, I have to admit that once we signed up to and incorporated in the US, like a lot of things are, if you don't do this, you'll get a penalty or imprisonment. So obviously, taking this a little bit more of, oh my God, like something will happen if I miss the payment or if I, excuse me, if I don't know what to do. That, of course, was an eye opener. But I understood that, you get more of a warning first and then until you build up to the imprisonment or the penalty.
It's so scary. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah, yes, yes, indeed. But it's definitely interesting because coming from I mean, considering the work that we have done in Romania to build the business and incorporating the US, there's a lot of omitted facts or knowledge that you get to know before you build the company. Some of the things that probably are not often talked about when someone has an idea and wants to start something. Doing the research that is required beforehand is really important. I didn't do that when I started in Romania. I just went ahead, went to the registration office, did the registration. When they asked me, do you want an LLC or a C Corp or something similar? I had no idea. Like, I was like, whatever is there, just give it to me. I want a company name so I can register the domain. But technically speaking, not even then I needed that. I should have just started building the product and then growing from there. I think there was a lot of stuff that I was trying to do in a more systematic way that was not needed. But coming with that knowledge and experience, obviously, and incorporating the US, it's much easier, especially, doing that research bit of it also helps. But I would definitely encourage people that have an idea to just jump on it. I mean, in my case, I quit my job, but in other cases, probably you don't need to quit your job. You have AI, you have a lot of tools at hand that can support you to start your journey.
Mhm. That's a great quote. Although I do think I will say this, quitting your job, there's urgency. So if you do quit your
Yes.
job, then there's like urgency to make it happen, which is nice. So there is that element. So it's kind of like both sides of the coin, which I like. And you were all in. You moved to a whole other country and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can read the language, and you just did it. I love that. You're amazing. Okay, the last question we always ask, which is one of my favorites, is what are you currently reading right now? And it doesn't have to be a business book, it can be anything.
To be honest, I don't have time to read. I am reading all of the stuff that are required on the business side. A lot of Googling and researching. But one book that I would definitely recommend, which was the last book that I read, is Never Split the Difference. Super interesting book about negotiation and understanding, the other person or the other side of what you're who you're communicating to. It's definitely interesting. And understanding the human behavior, that definitely helps building up a business. So that's one book that the last one I've read before I started jumping into doing a lot of research and reading a lot of research documents.
That sounds good. Never split the difference. Okay, I'll make sure I link that to in the video description, as well as your website and your LinkedIn, and hopefully everyone will reach out and connect with you. And it was just such a pleasure having you on the podcast today. Thank you so very much. I'm excited to see what this year holds for you.
Thank you, Molly. Appreciate it. Thank you for the invitation.